Welcome to another L7 Solutions Friday briefing. Today is October 3rd, 2025, and we have another Behind the Firewall series for you today. My name is Ken Tucker. I am the sales manager here at L7 Solutions, and I would like to thank you for dropping by to listen to our briefing today. Today's briefing is on ransomware resilience and endpoint security, basically how MSPs protect small businesses from modern cyber threats. Now, just so you have a little bit of information, L7 Solutions, we are a managed service provider located in Plantation, Florida. We deal in managed IT, cloud services, and cybersecurity. Cybersecurity being number one with us, building on that foundation for every customer we have. So let's hop into it. So I know many of you ask why cybersecurity matters for small business. You feel that because you're small, that cybersecurity really isn't that big of a deal. But let me tell you, small businesses are increasingly targeted by cyber criminals because they are small businesses, because they believe that with limited resources, you as a small business are weaker and more of a target that they would like to go for. Um, Businesses that are larger, your enterprise style businesses typically have the most expensive firewalls, the teams of cybersecurity specialists, all the tools in the world. So criminals tend to want to go for the lowest hanging fruit, being the smaller businesses. And how do they do that? They do it with ransomware attacks and the belief that you don't have a, a, a large endpoint solution or what we call in the business a stack. So when it comes down to your cybersecurity stack, you want to make sure that you are working with a managed service provider. So if you look at the screenshot that I have here, the MSP Shield, that's your managed service provider. You want to work with the managed service provider that's providing you the tools necessary to mitigate the risk of ransomware and to build that endpoint solution with not one, not two, but hopefully three, four, maybe five layers within that stack that help protect against those types of attacks and other attacks, the vast array of attacks that are common that the cyber criminals are putting out there. So, what do you need to know about ransomware? Well, first, ransomware is a type of malicious software that encrypts files and demands payment for decryption. It's becoming increasingly sophisticated and targeted towards smaller businesses nowadays. And the reason that is because they may not be able to get as much money from smaller businesses, but sometimes it's better to just get the quantity of businesses and keep the money rolling in than trying to pull as much from a larger company like a Caesars, which actually did pay a ransom not so long ago. Caesar's Palace is, I mean, so the thing about ransomware is that 71% of ransomware attacks target small and medium-sized businesses, and that makes them particularly vulnerable. The average global cost of a data breach in 2023 was $4.45 million. Dollars. And on average, it takes about 287 days to kind of recover from a ransomware breach. And that's time that you're concerned about doing any sort of business because your client's data may be out there. Um, and there are certain laws and rules that go along with being attacked or being hit with ransomware that we can get at get into at a later time. But it's crucial for businesses to be aware of this particular type of threat and take proactive measures to protect against it. And you do that by getting with a good MSP who is focused on cybersecurity. So, in the MSP world, being resilient, how does it work if ransomware is spotted? So, with ransomware being a serious threat that can basically cripple the business by encrypting the data and demanding ransom payments, the job of the MSP becomes very crucial in how a business stays resilient amidst all these attacks. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through four key ways we do this through proactive detection, reliable backups, prompt patch management, and effective incidents response. So, first, most MSPs, L7 included, we include a stack that is multi layered. And there are a number of things that help fight against things like ransomware, phishing, a number of the cyber threats. But these things are deployed uh, as threat detect. They're basically threat detection tools that are deployed, and they can identify ransomware early before it even has a chance to spread or encrypt your data. So, and what happens is it stops it at that point. But on top of that, you want to have regular automated backups. These are essential to keeping your business safe. That also keeps them from having or keeps you from having to pay any sort of ransom or meet any sort of ransom demands. And also, they stay on top of software vulnerabilities. So any MSP is going to stay on top of the software vulnerabilities by having constant patch management, by doing constant updates on servers, workstations, etc. Firewalls, closing any security gaps that ransomware could possibly exploit. And if an incident does occur, the MSP is going to have a robust incident response process to contain the threat and get operations back up and running quickly. So you want to make sure that you're working with an MSP that has a plan if it does happen. Hopefully, it never happens. With the right things in place, chances can be slim that it does happen, but you always have to be prepared. So, this is where those endpoints come in and are so important. The risk of having unsecured endpoints can be detrimental to a business. So endpoints like laptops, desktops, smartphones, and IoT devices have become major security risk, especially with remote work. So these devices can provide entry points for malware and ransomware that can spread throughout the network quickly. I've seen this type of attack happen and spread through a network of 20 or 30 systems in less than 45 seconds. So your work devices connected to business networks and storing sensitive data are all vulnerable if not properly secured. Mobile devices used for business communications and accessing company resources can also pose risk if they're not managed carefully. And then, of course, the IoT devices, which are like which are like the smart cameras and printers that that serve that that basically serve as gateways into the network for ransomware if not secured properly. So any unsecured endpoints allow threats to penetrate your organization. So it's critical to have strong endpoint security measures in place. And again, this is why it's critical to get with an MSP to help you secure your network. Security is not a joke, folks. It must be taken seriously. And I know we talk a lot at L7 Solutions about security, but it's because it's extremely, extremely important. And we want you to be safe. So we're not trying to just talk security, 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 security to hear ourselves talk. It's because we do care about what happens to you in your networks. And so that security is the foundation for a strong network. We know that everyone loves the pretty pictures, the things that light up and do all of these things, but it's that security that's working in the background, keeping you safe, making sure that you go home, you sleep well at night, and you don't come in to all of your files encrypted. So now the question remains, what are some of the security solutions, the endpoint security solutions from MSPs that can be put in place to help protect you? What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you just a few, but realize that there are more. And MSPs uh, put these things into place differently. Some MSPs are still actively using VPNs uh, as the way of communicating securely from outside of the network. Um, there are items such as AVD that are being used, which is the Azure Virtual Desktop from Microsoft that are being used to allow. You will get with an MSP and they will help you determine the most secure method for you to work remotely if that is what you're looking to do. But endpoint detection and response, which is an EDR, is real time monitoring and protection for devices, detecting threats that as they emerge and respond automatically. So that should be among every MSP having an EDR that is constantly monitoring. Now, some MSPs like L7 Solutions, we go above and beyond. We have actually a security operations center that also monitors, and that's 24/7, 365 days out of the year. So you want to make sure that that your systems, your network are being monitored by the company that you're using. Now, mobile device management. Uh, MSP should ensure compliance and secure and security for mobile and remote devices, managing access and policy centrally. So, if there's going to be a company mobile device that is used, whether it be a laptop, whether it be a phone, anything like that, the MSP should be securing that for you as well. Now, secure remote access, VPNs, and encryption protocols ensure safe connections for remote workers accessing company resources. And as I mentioned, there are a number of ways that quote unquote VPNs can be set up and used. Um, Sometimes VPNs may not be the answer. Again, with your MSP that you're working with, they will help you determine if VPN is the answer for you or if there's another method of connecting remotely that is even more secure. And then one of the things that I don't think we talk about enough is employee training. So we as an MSP, we help educate the staff on best practices, but it's important that we teach them the ways to avoid uh, the risky behaviors and secure their devices properly. And so these are all things that must be considered when you're getting with an MSP and that endpoint stack. Again, we're going to bring that word up again. That endpoint stack is being developed and designed for your small business. So, why is endpoint security key to preventing ransomware? Well, first of all, it's because ransomware often infiltrates businesses through vulnerable endpoints, making the endpoint security the first line of defense against uh, these types of attacks. Endpoint security is actually the key component of a layered security approach, which I mentioned before. We at L7 Solutions, we believe in layered security approaches. Now, other things to take into consideration are the network core, server protection, and application security as well. Now, securing the endpoints reduces the attack surface and prevents ransomware from spreading throughout the network. MSPs can combine endpoint security with other ransomware defenses to create a comprehensive security strategy. And so the endpoint defense is crucial for preventing the impacts that ransomware can have on your network. Again, making sure that you get with an MSP. I know I say this a lot, but it's important, and we try and do a lot of this ourselves by just patchworking the IT, um, or getting the local IT guy to handle uh, to handle whatever IT needs we have without the extras that an MSP like L7 Solutions offers. Things like the monitoring, things like the monthly meetings, okay, the account reviews to discuss the direction that you feel the technology of your company's going in, and the things that you like to see, to discuss any possible threats that might have taken place during the month that we need to be out, or that we need to be on the lookout for. Those are all things that a good MSP are going to go over with you on a regular basis, because they act as your partner, not just someone that you've hired to handle your network, but they act as your technical partner, and their success is your success. That's one of the things that we say here at L7 Solutions all the time, is that your success is our success. And so we want to make sure that you stay safe, and that we put the right tools in place to keep you safe and to keep your data safe. That data that is crucial to you doing business with all of your customers. So I know some of you may be asking, is the MSP really doing anything to stop these attacks from happening? Because sometimes we want to see proof. We want to hear that someone was hurt because they didn't have the, or a small business was hurt because they didn't have an MSP in place. Well, no, we really don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that anyway. Us at L7, we don't want to hear that any customer has been damaged in any way because they were hit with some sort of ransomware or any other cyber threat. Hence the reason we put the things in place that we do. But here are a few examples of what MSPs can do. So here we have a manufacturing company recovery, where an MSP isolated infected endpoints during a ransomware attack. Okay, so remember that endpoint protection is crucial. And then they restored critical production data from backups. Important to have those backups, which avoided a $500,000 ransom payment that was being requested. Bigger companies get bigger ransom requests. And then it prevented a 2-week shutdown. Here's an example with a law firm, with phishing prevention. An MSP secured remote worker devices and detected phishing attempts targeting client files. Now, this happens with more than just law firms. This happens to every business. The quick responses prevented potential ransomware deployment and protected confidential legal documents. Pay attention to that. The phishing was the thing that uh, everyone's heard of phishing coming, happening with their emails. But sometimes you're not knowing what that phishing leads to. Well, guess what? Phishing can lead to ransomware. And we know that the ransomware now can lead to company files being encrypted throughout the entire network. Now, how does this affect things overall? Well, 85% businesses partnering with MSPs experience significantly less operational disruption, 85% reduced downtime. And then the average reduction in cybersecurity incident costs with an MSP partnership, 60% lower cost. So it's important to put these things in place up front to make sure that you're not having to pay something like a $500,000 ransom down the line. So, what are some of the steps you can do to improve your cybersecurity posture? There are four things that are listed here on this slide. You really only need one, and I'm going to let you choose which one you need. And I'm going to tell you that it's one thing that you need, and it's only one thing that you need. You need to partner with an MSP, the first thing on the list. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when you partner with an MSP, number two, number three, number four are taken care of for you. That's what a good MSP will do. They will invest in the employee training by helping get your employees trained with the knowledge that they need to have to spot ransomware, to spot phishing, to spot the things that might come through that are suspicious. They will also provide you with regular updates and patches on servers, workstations, all of the devices that are vulnerable to these cyber threats. And of course, they will help you create a disaster recovery plan because they have to make sure that they have a plan in case something does happen. The goal is to put all the things in place that keep them from happening. But in case something does happen, there's always another plan. Now, I've tried to keep it short today because sometimes we can get long, but um, what I really want to get across to you that you've got to protect your business today. Um, the ransomware and endpoint vulnerabilities, these are real threats. And so we have to step up to the plate and make sure that we are doing the right things to make sure that our business is protected. MSPs provide the expertise and the tools that you may not have. Okay, they provide the tools that are needed to safeguard your business and protect against all of these threats that are constantly changing. It's not your business to know those things that are changing on a daily basis, but it is the MSP, it is the business of the MSP. So don't wait for an attack. Partner with an MSP and start to strengthen your defenses against all of these threats. And L7 Solutions, any South Florida clients, any Florida clients, honestly, any clients who who have a setup that you feel is a very good remote setup, contact us. Schedule a consultation. We are happy. We are very, very happy to work with you and develop a plan and a solution that works for you. And with that, I am going to let you go for the weekend. I do appreciate you stopping by and taking some time to listen to our briefing this week. Again, my name is Ken Tucker. I'm the sales manager here at L7 Solutions, located in Plantation, Florida. You can always contact me at k.tucker@l7solutions.com. You can reach us by phone at 954 573 1300. Or you can visit us at www.l7solutions.com, and you can find out many things of what we do and schedule a consultation if that if that works for you. So again, thanks again for joining us this Friday. Again, this is L7 Solutions, managed service provider here in South Florida. We look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great weekend. Have a safe weekend, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.